Welcome viewers to another edition of Focal Point on Abia Facts Online Television. Today on Focal Point, we will be looking at the issues surrounding Abia State Polytechnic. And with me here to talk on Abia State Polytechnic is no other person than Professor Friday Ezeonye Ebo. Professor Ebo is director of Abia State Polytechnic, and today he will be leading us into Abia State Polytechnics, the issues surrounding Abia State Polytechnics, the controversies and all that. We will all go to lay them bare today. Prof, you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, my pleasure.
Prof, who is Professor Friday Ezeonye Ebo?
Ezeonye Ebo is an Abian from Isochi.
You are the
I'm a teacher because at whatever level you are inculcating, impacting knowledge, you are a teacher. I'm a professor of management at the Abia State University, an institution I'm very proud to be associated with, and for which and in which I have spent the whole of my working life, spanning over 20 years now. I'm in Abia State Polytechnic at the instigation of His Excellency to ensure that we get things working here. And for 2.5 years, we have done our best to ensure that Abia Poly is back on track.
So you've been director of Abia Poly for the past 2.5 years?
Since February 2017.
Let's start with academics, because that is your common bed.
Yeah.
So, what will you rate? How will you rate your performance in this institution within the past 2.5 years that you have been in charge? What has been the academic achievements? What have been the achievements you've made in terms of academics? What value have you added as a director?
We've made commendable progress. We wouldn't want to say that we are where we want to be, otherwise there won't be any need for further progress. But we've made some swift forward dashes, and when we came in here, the institution was under lock and key. In February 2017, there were no academic activities of any sort. And within the first 1 week of our commencement, we are back on track. Full-blown academic activities commenced. And since then and now, from then till now, we've ensured that we had minimized the disruptions in terms of flow, teaching, learning, and the impartation of knowledge. And very interestingly, we are in the second semester of the 2018-2019 academic session, in spite of what you may see as our constraints. And so I think is a quantum leap, is a major step forward. Beyond that, we have ensured that we put Abia Poly back on the global map as a first-class tertiary institution, and our academic efforts are online, and we are doing everything we can to ensure that we get back to our core mandate of teaching and research and communities service. And I commend the academic staff of this great polytechnic. We've done so well. Indeed, when we get back to headed funded to make the demands for conferences, and we see that we no stone is left unturned by the academic staff of the Hayes Polytechnic, because on a continuous basis we are publishing, we are expanding our frontiers of knowledge. Academic is important because we are also ensuring that what we do here are not done in isolation, and therefore we are collaborating with other international educators, and which is why we have a collaboration with the ICT University of Louisiana, United States, to ensure that our students can go back through the facilities we have here to know what is being taught in their subject areas, what is being taught in their disciplines, even beyond the shores of this country. Compare notes, compare ideas, extrapolate, and improve on what we are doing here. In terms of academics, you also know that the discipline is important. Within and indeed, given the constraints we have, we've ensured that we have minimized the rate of abuse, and we have a regulated academic activities to the extent that our books are sold in the bookshop. There are little or no violations. The students write the exams by themselves. We have minimized examination practices, and we have punished erring students, those who felt that it must be business as usual, maybe as it was in the beginning, so now and ever more shall be. And we've done well in those areas. But let me take you back to where we started. Very importantly, we have ensured that our doors are not closed as a result of the disruptions in academic activities. Challenges are there, but yet we are doing the right thing.
Yes, Prof. Yes, you've taken us on a very long ride of your achievements within the Canada, but there are so many knotty issues that the public want to know in terms of salary.
Very correct.
Abia Poly has been beamed in the pathlights. Seriously, there's been this negative notion about that the school will be owing salaries. So some say 18 months, some 14 months, 10 months. What is really is the situation? What really is the situation? And why is the school owing as much as 10, 14, 18 months as been speculated?
Thank you very much. I want to say upfront that if there's any headache we have in Abia Poly, it has to do with the issue of regular, prompt, uninterrupted payment of salaries. Yet the problem was there when we came in. By the time we came in, within the first week of February 2017, our arrears of salaries up to 7.5 months we are being owed. And for that year, 2018, this management under my watch paid salaries for 10 months. Okay. In 2018, this management under my watch also paid salaries for 10 months. And in this 2019, we have paid 3 months. We are on the 4th month. We have been scratching, running helter-skelter to see how we tidy up with the 4th month. But essentially, the problem of Abia Poly is that, like I have had to say within the past 1 month or so, like Frederick Forsyth's devil's alternative. Whichever option you choose, men will die. And we have a wage bill that is far in excess of our ability to pay. We have a staff strength that is also far and beyond what we need at the moment. And from a wage bill of 180 million when we started in 2017 to 165, 166 now. If you add the pensions, it will be a little over 171. We don't have all it takes. Our student effective students at the moment is a little below 10,000. That's fee-paying students. And if you multiply what we charge as school fees at 83,000 by roughly 10,000 students, you see that we will be realizing a little over $500 million in a year. That, of course, is if all the students pay. And so you see that at 165, 170, we won't be able to pay salaries for more than 3 months with all the IGR coming through school fees. And so there's a problem somewhere. So indeed, if you add the subvention we get from a government, which is at 90 million, and assumes also, which of course is very difficult now, and assume the subvention comes uninterruptedly every month. The subvention and our IGR rate through school fees won't take us up to 8 months. So that is the dilemma in Abia Poly. And the picture is so disturbing because since we came in, we've not employed any one person. And kudos to His Excellency, who understands the peculiar constraint we have and has not also disturbed us about the employment of any people, including his close relatives. He has not disturbed us. And so these problems we were here before we came in. But we are duty bound to look for a solution. And this place must be restructured. We have what we may classify as excess luggage. And until it is done, our wage bill will still be as high as the heavens. So we need to do something about it. And so no matter what we do under the current circumstance, no matter the magic we perform, assume we mop up all the moppables, permit me that coinage, and assume that the government is regular in giving us the 90 every month, we will meet up.
Prof, that's a huge challenge. Just did you meet salary areas when you assumed?
I said that 7.5.
7.5 years.
Yes.
Months.
Yes. And if you add the shortfall from what we have now, is up to 1 year.
Given this very challenge that you just explained now, and we cannot continue like this, I believe.
We cannot.
What is the way forward?
Restructuring. Whichever option you choose in Abia Poly, men must hire. Do you need any further explanation on that?
No. It's very clear. You are very clear on that. And again, you met challenges of overbloated workforce.
Yes.
If I may use that language.
Very correct.
What strategy are you putting in place? Because you are in charge here now.
I am.
So what the box stops at the table?
There must be a reduction in the numerical strength of the workforce.
Will that solve the problem?
It will. That combined with one or two other strategies we have in place, and realizing that we need the support, the consistent, unalloyed, unequivocal support of a government in the subventions. That will help us a great deal.
No, Prof. Student population.
Very correct.
Upon assumption of office as director of Abia Polytechnic, what is the population of students you met in that place? In your own assessment, have it progressed or it decreased?
It has decreased, and I will tell you why. Tertiary institutions, especially, there is a proliferation of universities across the length and breadth of the country, especially within our catchment area. And so that has eaten significantly deep into our basket. But beyond that also, we have not helped ourselves internally. Why I say so is because we seem to be our own greatest enemies. What I may call Napoleon Bonaparte described himself as the cause of his own disastrous fate. We have helped in propagating negative media publicity. That has not helped us. The incessant closures when it mattered most, especially during periods of admission, have also not helped us. And we need the support of all the stakeholders to ensure that what comes out from Abia Poly, and when I mean the support of all the stakeholders, both management and the unions and staff and students, including those on the government side, because they have also not helped us in terms of the publicity concerning Abia Poly. Yes. All hands must be on deck. And so we need to help. We need to help ourselves in the direction. I want to also come and in saying so, we realize the trend, the dynamics in education. There is a gap which the polytechnics are expected to fill. And sometime at last year, a little over a year and a half, I was in Kaduna for an MBTE policy meeting. And Abia Poly was given a standing ovation as the most technologically driven polytechnic in the country. In the midst of the crisis, we got that standing ovation from our regulator. And so, those who understand what polytechnic education means and who are conscious of imbibing that technological know-how should understand the gap Abia Poly is filling. And you know our location, we are in Aba, the Japan of Africa. And so we encourage people to take advantage of our presence to acquire that level of education for themselves and for their children and their wards. If we begin to have that orientation, that mentality, it will help us. It is not, university education is not for everyone. And in saying that, there are some products of polytechnics that are better than products of universities. And so this wave of mama nurse, mama doctor, mama lawyer, that era has gone, is infantile. Take advantage. We have an energy bulb right now that can last for 15 years and is unbroken. It doesn't break. And sells at almost the same price as the normal bulb in the market. We have so many inventions over there that are amongst the best you can get in the country. Abia Poly, it is.
I presume this is the bulb.
Yes.
Yes.
Uche Tupaya.
Bro, is this bulb manufactured here?
Yes, Abia Poly made.
100%.
His Excellency has a sit in it and is excited and is working out ways of partnering with Abia Poly. You can also say that if you have any problem, you can replace here. You can repair it. But incidentally, I want to throw it again. Each of our mouth 20 times. If it has not broken. That's the kind of thing we see in Abia Poly. And that's why we are calling on you and your men, especially the online media, in ensuring that we encourage the populace, we encourage Abians and beyond. We have brought down the cost for the purchase of our farms from 13,000 to 7,000 in order to ensure that we expand our dragnet. The essence is to encourage people to take advantage of what we have. I think I can stop there.
Yes. Prof, you just led some heavy allegations on the media, both the government side and the media.
Especially your own especially online media.
Of having projected
there is so much of this junk journalism.
Prof, do you think that do you have management marketing team in your school, in this school, in this institution? Do you have a media marketing department in this school?
Yes, we have. We have a marketing the department in terms of the literal sense of a marketing the department. Okay. We have also a media team that is led by the public relations officer who had earlier on introduced.
Without being indicted, without something indicted, do you think they have done well?
There's still much to be done.
Bro, let's move on to Lloydant. The major issue at stake right now in Abia State. It's been Lloydant. Who is this Lloydant? What do they represent?
Oh my God. Lloydant is our service provider, our portal manager. I came in here February 2017 to find Lloydant. And going through our records, Lloydant came into Abia Poly in 2015. All that we did was to strengthen its efforts, its activities, to ensure 100% collection of all our collectibles, and to eliminate any form of manual collection. When we came in, there was still this hybrid of using the portal and the manual collection, and we said no. And for these 2.5 years or thereabout, all our collections have gone through the portal managed by Lloydant. It may interest you, Uche, to also find out that our portal is open. Indeed, the Board of Internal Revenue has access to our portal because we feel that there's nothing to hide. I want to say that Lloydant has done well in ensuring that we eliminate any form of fraud in the system. When you make a system open and transparent, that eliminates fraud. That eliminates any form of sharp, corrupt practices. I wouldn't want to go into the history of how Lloydan came into Abia Poly because
it's also very important.
Because I may not have all the information. But I want to tell you this. I read an advertorial in the Vanguard 2 days ago, and I found it both churlish and infantile. And indeed, my heart bleeds for Abia. Because if you are in doubt of the ownership of a registered company, you don't need to be a professor in management to go to CSC within 24 hours. You have the information you need.
Even online.
Within 24 hours, you have all the information you need. And I have worked closely with Obinna Oriakụ within these 2.5 years. And I have seen in him a man who is conscious of helping His Excellency drive the progress of the state. I have seen in him a man without blemish, without spot, without wrinkles. I don't know, but I want us to be a bit careful on how out of self-pressing the desires we destroy the Abia of our dream. I don't think the ownership of Lloydan is in doubt. And from the records available, I don't think Obinna Oriakụ has a hand in the ownership of Lloydan. And I saw an attachment there. And what is wrong in a government trying to ensure best practices in its key institutions in the state? In that government, recommending a service provider. What is wrong with that? I don't know, but I want us to be guided, because all we did was to ensure that Lloydan, the operations of Lloydan was expanded and strengthened. And you go to anywhere, ask anybody. Every penny we collect, every kobo we collect is in the portal. Every penny we have collected since we came in is in the portal. So, what's the problem? I want us to minimize this mudslinging politics, trying to pull down one in order to rise. Some of these allegations, and indeed the preponderance of which I find spurious, I find incoherent, I find logically inconclusive. Lloydan has done well in Abia Poly. Oh, we may have interests here and there, but it is important for us to know that we came in 2017. Lloydan was there in 2015. The MOU signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding, and we came in to ensure in full force the implementation of the activities of Lloydan. And indeed, the Ministry of Finance within this period had continued to ask questions on our transparency. And at each point, we were able to provide answers. And of course, it's interesting to note also that from our records, before Lloydan, there was the money manager, head manager. There was also First Bank. And so it's not as if the issue of the management of Abia Poly started with Lloydant in 2015. I think I can stop there, Uche.
Yes, you really don't want to expanding the issue of that. But from your explanation, Lloydant predates your tenure.
Predates our tenure.
And that simply means you didn't introduce Lloydant.
I didn't introduce Lloydant.
And I think I'm also aware that Lloydant, this is not the only place that Lloydant is operating within the state. And Lloydant is operating in a school of health.
Uche, let me also help you that by saying that prior to my coming here, I was in APSU and I was a member of a Senate. And I know the problems we had with the service provider before then. It was a thorny issue in Senate, at every Senate meeting.
That's tendency or something.
I don't want to mention names. It was a thorny issue in Senate at every Senate meeting. I was in Senate. I don't have time to attend Senate sessions in afternoon, but I know they're not having that problem again. Let's come together to help His Excellency within these 4 years achieve the Abia of our dream. We're all Abians. We are interested in what happens there. Abia must march on progressively. If there are other interests, let's find other ways of expressing such interest. Let's find other ways of venting our spleen instead of this kind of.
So that's where I become confused surrounding the activities of Lloydant in Abia Poly and other institutions. Now, I know that you're in School of Health and APSU. I don't think that the issues surrounding Lloydant's activities in APSU and School of Health is something as what is happening.
I wouldn't know. I've given you the facts. I've given you the facts that are verifiable.
And from your records, do you think Lloydant has improved the financials of Abia Poly?
Why not?
To what degree?
Uche, before now, the stories we had was that during exams, people, the field driving committee would go to exams and be collecting school fees from students. Cash, onye jide 5,000, and onye jide 20,000, and you know what could happen to such. Since we came in, we've avoided that kind of scenario. We've also smashed individuals who were in the habit of defrauding the Polytechnic. We have descended heavily on some forms of racketeering involving several forms of collection. Nobody has collected cash from anybody, and I challenge anybody. Everything is through the instrumentality of the portal. And like that, at each point we complained, there was a rapid response from Lloydant. And I don't know, but you know, the story of Abia Poly, I had talked about the mudslinging and all that. But you know, so in a process, many things went wrong, and you're trying to re-engineer. It's always difficult, especially when you have not made any effort to build some kind of empire for yourself.
Prof, Lloydant.
You are going back to the Lloydant.
Yes. Lloydant is the issue here.
Oh my God.
Is there anything like a vested interest in some of the just between you and Lloydant?
No. I didn't bring Lloydant. I didn't know the MD until I came in here. I didn't know him. He was here he came in here in 2015. I came in 2017. Lloydant was already here. Lloydant had cemented these operations. Lloydant was already operating in Abia Poly. The memorandum of understanding was already signed. And we called him and said, now that you signed it, we must go into full-scale 100% operation of a collection of all our charges.
Is it only a collection portal that Lloydant handles here, or are they done to any other area?
We have expanded within this period to include the Wi-Fi.
That the ICT.
Yes, the ICT, and so far so good.
Okay. So before they are coming into the ICT department, what has it been like?
We believe, and I stand to be challenged, that a 21st century tertiary institution without internet facility is merely wandering aimlessly in a blind endeavor to find a way out. And we came in, and going by our collaboration with the ICT the university, we felt that the polytechnic, the entire polytechnic, should be internet connected. And we went into that discussion, and it yielded the fruit we are enjoying today. Every staff enjoys it free. All the students that pay their school fees have access to be connected while on campus here. And it's a win-win thing. And we have realized, Uche, that there is no education without the student or the pupil. And so our first line of charge is the student. If we neglect what should promote learning and teaching, we have neglected everything. And so that's why we went into Wi-Fi. Not only that, we've ensured the success of the teaching, the social health program that ensures that any student here or SY who is up to date in the payment of who he is or her school fees receives free healthcare.
Okay.
Is in place right now, and we are not charging the students any extra cover.
Okay. And it was under your tenure that you expanded the operations of Lloydant to the ICT.
Very correct.
What's the transparency in that?
Very transparent.
You carried the management, the former management of this thing along during the.
Very transparent. We have nothing to hide in that arrangement. Very transparent, and the students were also involved in the negotiation. The leadership of the students union, we are involved in the negotiation.
Okay, Prof. Enough of that issue. I think we need to address that. Now, let's take on security. Security is a very important issue in Nigeria today, and even in higher institutions.
Yeah.
We are faced with issues of student cultism, and also harassment of female students and all that, sexual harassment, and even this sex for marketing and the extortion of students as well by lecturers. These are all happening. So how have you, what measures have you put in place to checkmate all that? And has there been such occurrence in the school? If there has been, how have you handled it?
Like I said, it doesn't make any sense to tell you that we are there. But every step we've taken is progressively leading us to where we want to be. When we came in, we saw a lot of so much abuse and distortion. in the system, distortion and indeed extortion, permit me. And we've taken steps to address all those issues. Cases of harassment, if any, are very minimal, and none has been brought to the attention of this management. Cases of extortion are also minimal, because part of what we have done has been to ensure that the bookshop begins to function again, and all the books by lecturers pass through the bookshop, and that has helped us. We've not withheld any lecturers money for whatever reason is paid into a dedicated account, and as at the end of each semester we meet accordingly. It has also helped to check abuses. We are doing the director of we instituted the directorate of quality assurance and ethics, and that the directorate is doing beautifully well. In fact, the director, a former commissioner and a very bright, astute academic, has done a number of undercover assignments without even telling me. Today, I guess he's as unpopular as a rector, because we want the right thing to be done. But having said that, we are also not having so much challenge in terms of security, because one, this is an off-campus non-residential institution, and so much of the reports we get happen outside the campus. I think we'll begin to be much more concerned when we move to our permanent campus and have some hostels for our students. The rate of cultism is also low, which is why at the onset of this interaction, I made the passionate plea that Abia Poly is where it should be. People should encourage their awards. People who want their awards to concentrate on why they come into an academic institution should come into Abia Poly. We have less and less of cult activities here. Our students do what they come here to do. It is not as if we don't have isolated cases, but like I've said, such usually happen outside the campus.
But then, are there dedicated channels by which you encourage students to report those? Because
sure.
Most often they are afraid of reporting.
We have had cases of students reporting through the directorate of quality assurance, or through the deputy rector, academic, or even undercover investigations using the security apparatus of the institution. We've had cases, and we've dealt with such cases as quickly as possible. And of course, we have, within these 2.5 years, we have had to expel a number of students. Yes, we've had to.
And just in a minute, admission fraud. How have you been able to curtail admission fraud? Because these are things that's happening everywhere in Nigeria, in the institutions these days. You see a student who, after 4 years, 2 years, as the case may be, will go back to discover that his admission is not proper.
You see, we've had a very good time to deal with some of these issues. When we started, within the first few months of our commencement, we smashed so many racketeering groups, including those on admission, including the holds on school fees and such other sundry payments. Which is also why the presence of Lloydans in ensuring also that admission, the entire admission process is through the portal. In the entire process of admission, from table A to table Z, nobody collects cash. And forms are also provided when you have paid and you have access to the portal. And so we have done a lot to ensure that we have round pegs in round holes. And if there are any cases of any fraud elsewhere, and I doubt, such haven't come to. But increasingly, we are stepping efforts on continuous improvement of what we have on ground.
Prof, finally, what are the expectations? How do you intend to improve on salary payments? I also know that you, even as much as you've made some remarkable improvements in the academics, yeah, how you still intend to improve on it further. So how do you intend to achieve that, given the present constraints?
Let me start with the number one headache, payment of salaries. Our expectations are simple, that before the end of this year, we'll be done with the issue of salaries arrears, and that we'll be able to pay salaries by the end of every month. Having said that, it requires the cooperation of all the critical stakeholders, including the government. Our subventions must come. Okay. Because no matter what we do, we cannot do it alone. Okay. No matter the surgery we do, the surgery won't be effective without our subvention. And as it stands now, without the subvention, the salaries are mounting. And so, and on our own, I challenge anybody anywhere. I challenge anybody anywhere to prove any case of mismanagement by this management under my watch. I challenge anybody anywhere and at any time. And so we'll continue to do what we started, and I hope that by the time we finish, we will make 3 people proud. We'll be able to make God proud for sending us here. We'll be able to make His Excellency proud, and we'll be able to make the entire Abia Poly community proud. If you give me another 1 minute, I will use this opportunity to thank His Excellency and to thank all the stakeholders in Abia Poly, including the various layers of the unions and the students. And I want to assure them that under my watch, we will do what God has asked us to do. And when the righteous is in authority, the people must rejoice. In thanking His Excellency, He has reposed so much confidence in this management, and we won't let him down. And we know that as time progresses, we will get what is due for Abia Poly. We need the support of the government.
Prof, thank you very much.
Thank you.